Okay, now it's going live.
Nice life.
We're live. We're live.
Oh,
It was a feat. So anyone who was waiting 4 minutes for us to go live, technology is not my friend. So thank you all for being here. And I'm Joanne Newborn. I am certified lifestyle and leadership coach with my company, Newborn Evolution. And I am super, super excited about my guest tonight on Leadership Dolce, Sweet Morsels of Wisdom. My guest is Dr. Larisa Gaitour, and she is actually a former client who has just spread her wings, and she is flying so high that I can't wait to hear all about what we're going to talk about tonight. So Larisa is a mother. She is a lover of nature. She's a physician, a certified functional medicine practitioner, and the founder of True Health PC, which is the premier resource for high achieving professionals to look and feel their best. So I definitely am excited to learn about this tonight. And there's a lot more to say about Larisa, but I'm gonna jump right in unless you wanted to add anything else to that, Larisa.
I just want to add that I'm so excited to be here and share my message, my knowledge, and thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. So I wanted to ask you how you felt, how you're finding people's mindsets around their weight and their health during this time. Sort of, we're kind of getting sort of to the end of the pandemic. So we've been in this really odd place for a long time. And I know, I've seen stories of people just kind of like wasting away or not taking care of themselves. And now, we're coming out of this space that we've been hiding out in for so long. So how are you finding it as someone in the medical profession?
It's been a very interesting period of time, and I think we find ourselves in a very unusual situation that we didn't expect everything. And from my observation and my own experience, I can say that there are two main categories of people, and the mindset is different drastically.
Okay.
So the first one, I can say that there are people mindset is actually weaponized against them.
Interesting.
And what I mean is, before I say anything, I just want to make a distinction that we as humans, as a human body, we have central nervous system, we have our brain, and we're special in a cognitive perception, in a spiritual realm. And that's what separates us from the animal world on the entire planet. And a lot of companies are fighting to control the nervous system. So what we notice, it's like there are a lot of news and media that perpetuating a lot of fear, drugs, alcohol. So this is like a primary objective, just to control the nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
So if people not aware about that and just constantly watching news and that fear-based narrative, what happens, that message goes into deep into subconscious, especially when I hear people, they're falling asleep in front of the TV. This is like the worst thing you can do to your body and to your nervous system, because without even realization, that message, you don't even remember the message. But falling asleep, the brain goes into a completely different state when it becomes really imprintable. And that fear goes in so deep into the body that people don't even realize why they're having such a fear-based response after that. So a lot of people not aware in that respect, I find. And we have that ability to focus on one thing.
Mhm.
and keep attention. So, and the interesting thing, what we focus expands. So if we're gonna focus on disease, that's what's gonna expand. If we're gonna focus and think more about creating health,
Mhm.
that's gonna expand. And at the same time, I find there are more than enough people. This pandemic was like kind of a wake-up call. And they said, okay, enough is enough. My health is a priority. And I now realize that nobody cares about my health more than I do, and which is actually very, very true. So people start taking responsibility, being more proactive, and to me, like being like really paying attention to their lifestyle and implementing at least basic stuff on a daily basis. So this is like the biggest two camps that I see, and two different perspectives, how people react and how people see what's happening around them.
So just to, and I'm so on the same page as you, but to kind of clarify, the two camps is the one camp that is sort of allowing themselves to be manipulated by everything that's out there, the fear-based news. I do not watch the news ever. So if anyone knows me really well, you know that about me. Like, I'm adamant about not watching the news. I get news from other sources, but that constant, it's like a loop of fear. And then the other camp is what you're saying is there are people that really believe that they can take control of their own health journey and saying, I'm going to take steps to figure out what that is, even if I don't know what it is in this moment. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. That people, yes, that they have intention of putting the focus and making health a priority.
Fantastic. And I'm just going to say this to anyone that's listening on the Facebook Live, or anyone who's here with us in Zoom. If you have questions along the way, we are going to have a Q&A in the Zoom after the interview. But if you have questions along the way, feel free to put them in the chat, or feel free to put them in the comments. I'm going to be monitoring this as we go along, because this is really deep, juicy, amazing stuff. So I want everyone to be clear as we're going along. Yeah, so thank you for that. I couldn't say for myself that I really took a deep nosedive when I could not go to the gym on a regular basis. And it was really hard for me to get back into that space again in my house, right? And create something new for myself. It was difficult. I found it depressing. I would cry. And then when the gym opened up again, I was really excited, but not everyone is going to be able to have that energetic connection to it. So yeah, so what are the biggest concerns and challenges that you're seeing out there right now?
First of all, I want to say, before I answer your question, that we as humans, we can make decisions from two different places. We see the same events happening around us, and everybody's going to have different perspective. And based on that perspective, we make our own decisions and we take actions. So it boils down to two places. We can make decision from a place of fear, or we can make decision from a place of love. And these are completely different places. And the decisions are going to be completely different with different consequences. So if we're talking about place of fear, we're talking about our lower self. It's our ego. And then we have another part of us that is our true self, our higher self. And it's like lower self and a higher self. And to understand the difference, we have to look at two different selves. So low self, ego, it's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of victimhood. The things that's happening around me, it's happening to me. So, and it's feels like it's separate, it's physical, and it's easily destroyed. So for me to stay safe and be safe, I have to know exactly what's happening around me. And I'm going to use control and manipulation to make sure that I'm safe.
Mm-hmm.
The higher self on the opposite end is more vibrational. It's more energy connected to everything, to the universe, everything. It's coming from a place of love, unconditional love. So it understands that everything that's happening around, it's happening for me.
Mm.
I might not understand it
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know exactly what's happening, but it's happening for my highest good.
Yeah.
So I'm accepting everything that's happening around me as is, because I cannot control it. It's happening for me. The only thing I can control is go inside and see what's happening inside of me.
So what would you, oh, go ahead. Sorry, you weren't done.
So yes, so this is love, abundance, freedom,
Mm-hmm.
and fear, control, manipulation. So when we make a decision, when we listen, because these are two voices that's happening in our head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what I find, a lot of people, they buy into that fear, lower self, because it's comfortable, because it keeps us safe. And it's, but it's gonna take us like around circles, and it's gonna take us exactly the same way, place we are, or sometimes even worse. And listening to higher self is coming from the love. It's gonna bring joy, peace, abundance, and freedom. But it takes courage.
Yes, it does.
Because it's
And
uncomfortable, because it's unknown.
and also like many, like you said, it's uncomfortable and unknown, but a lot of people are just used to working with the lower self. Like that's the way we've been our entire lives. So
Right.
it's really hard to kind of shift out of that.
I mean, it's not even bashing that ego, because it's part of us, and it's been serving us just to survive in this world. We were born in this world, and it's very materialistic, and it served us to be where we are now, right? It's just we stepping into a different realm of energy, and we actually pulled in a direction to move ourselves closer to that higher self and to that love, unconditional love.
So if someone were, let's say, if we were trying to lose weight, or if we're suffering from some particular health issues, and we want to be able to work with this that you're explaining, like what could someone actually do with using these two areas of our lives, from the love and from the fear?
So first of all, understanding two different aspects of ourselves, right? So the closer we're gonna move, even like shift 2% in the direction of the higher self, true self, and embracing that love, that energy and that frequency, that's what heals the body. Okay, so, and it's always looking, okay, if we're talking about, first of all, about weight, right? About energy, about something that we desire to change in our physical body. First of all, I want to share a little bit about myself.
Yeah, please do.
So I've been struggling a lot with like low energy, hormonal imbalance, joint pain for a long period of time. And I didn't pay attention because I didn't have time until like one specific symptom brought me to my knee. And I still remember the day I was sitting in ophthalmologist's office while he was examining my eye, because blurry vision forced me to schedule an appointment. And I still remember like feeling really anxious because I knew like in my heart that something was off. And I hear him say, "You have a cataract in your eye." And I was in complete denial. I just remember tears rolling down my face. And I just asked, how is it possible? Like, it's like, I don't even understand it. I cannot really grasp that. So the full workout's done.
You're quite young, right?
It was my 40, yeah. I was 40. And they said, well, all tests are normal, the good news, what we don't know is just, we don't know why you developed that. And I've been seen by different ophthalmologists at that time. And one of them asked me a specific question. He said, well, you ever been given the shot of steroids in your eye? I said, never. I was using drops as I was prescribed for uveitis. And he said, well, the way you develop the cataract, it looks like it's a side effect to steroids. So most people would never develop that, but your body did it. So within 6 months, like I was barely able to see the light through that eye. So like fear became really real. Like I was questioning what's going to happen to my eyesight, what's going to happen to my career, will I be able to see? So eventually I underwent the cataract surgery, and it improved my eyesight. But the vision, how to heal my body, was still not really clear. So, but that comment, but one ophthalmologist brought awareness to me that even though a lot of people and most people will never develop side effects to this specific drug, it doesn't mean that my body is going to react the same way. So that was a big, big lesson for me. And I became really aware about that. So I started working as a physiatrist. When I finished, I finally received my license, and it seems like everything like so amazing. And I hear comments from people, your life's so amazing, I wish I had your life. But deep down inside, like I don't feel like joy. I'm divorced at that time, and it's like I'm trying to rebuild my life for my son and myself. And I started attending numerous like health seminars because I was looking for a different approach, and I just had no idea where to find a different approach. I understand that like I was not feeling myself. My symptoms was getting worse. And I just couldn't see myself like where I would bring myself in a place that I feel like energetic, I feel like happy, I feel joy waking up in the morning. So eventually I came across functional medicine, and it was discussed during the podcast I was listening, and it was discussed as a different approach to health, going deeper and finding the root cause and eliminating the root cause. So I took a leap into functional medicine and implemented a root cause functional medicine approach to my own health. And at the same time, I'm still like, I remember like one day I'm still standing in my kitchen, and I realized, okay, I'm eating all organic food, I'm exercising, I'm taking supplements, and the emotional struggle and pain is so severe and so intense that I feel, okay, I can't handle that pain anymore. So what I did, I opened up the fridge and I found a glass of wine for myself. And I drank that glass of wine as like quickly as possible so I can numb those emotions. And I remember I just threw myself on the couch and I was just crying uncontrollably for several hours. And I realized, okay, there is a deeper emotional stuff that's still giving me all these physical symptoms. And unless I go deeper and address those emotional stuff and the mindset, it's still gonna give me physical symptoms.
Yeah.
So eventually, like experimenting with so many different approaches, I found the whole health root cause approach to the whole body. And there are 4 bodies. There is a physical body, emotional, mental, and spiritual body.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna say that again because we went there. Say the 4 again.
So there is physical body. That's what we
Okay.
see, right?
Yes.
There is emotional body, our emotions. There is a mental body, and there is a spiritual body.
Okay. Okay.
So
Great.
physical, that's what we see. And mental, emotional, and spiritual, it's all energy.
Mm.
It's like an iceberg. We see the tip of the iceberg is physical, but what's happening underneath?
Yeah.
And we're trying to change physical. So coming back to weight, right? So we want to lose weight. We want to just feel energetic. We want to just get rid of the pain. We want to have like beautiful skin. Whatever happening like on a physical realm, right? And we trying to change it from a physical approach only.
Yeah, like
And
going
it's
to the
like
gym
chipping away, but we're not
Yeah.
really making quantum leap. Because what's happening underneath? And underneath is, okay, I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm a failure. I've tried everything. I have bad genes. This like cancer runs in my family. Yeah, my family is big, so there is no chance. I have a beautiful body. I don't deserve to have a beautiful body. Yeah. So when we go deeper and we uncover deeper root cause and remove those, then the whole foundation shifts, and the physical shifts as a result also. We can start with physical. We should start actually with physical. Sure, it's not like you go deep, just in but eventually, yes, you want to address on 3 levels, 3 pillars, like I would say, on physical, emotional, and mental. Because weight is just a symptom. It's just a symptom from the body that there is an underlying imbalance. And sometimes it's even outcry from the body for help. And unless we go deeper and address those imbalances and remove the root cause, that symptom is still going to be there.
Okay. So let's take a hypothetical situation. There's somebody, they want to lose 15 pounds. They want to start with the physical, right? Like I want to start looking at my diet, how much I'm exercising, not really making too much headway. That's me. So what would I do next?
So we're going to start with physical, and always I recommend implement what I start with, always discussing narrow feeding window. It's basically intermittent fasting. If people don't have any problem with low sugar, that's an amazing tool. Okay, so what it allows, actually, it allows the body to have time to detoxify, to relax, to digest, to rebalance hormones. And then when you're eating, I recommend, usually if people never done it, just start with 12 hours. So say like you're eating from like 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. Okay. And then gradually like reducing that 30 minutes. But you know that you're giving your body at least 12 hours. No food, no snacking. So you can just drink only. You drink fluids, you drink water, no like soda, no all this sugary stuff. And also focusing on nutrient dense food and not calorie counting. Okay. So we know some programs just focus on calorie counting, but if you look at potato chips and broccoli, that's definitely, even though same amount of calories, these are not the same food. And eating broccoli, what's going to give you those micronutrients, phytonutrients, everything that the body needs to produce the energy and to shift that metabolic state of the body, so it just starts burning up fat. So that's number one tool. Start with intermittent fasting and focus on whole nutrient-dense food.
Where would we want to get to? Because 12 hours seems pretty easy, right? Because we're sleeping for a bunch of it. So where, if we're adding 30 minutes on, where would we ideally want to land with intermittent fasting, or does it vary person by person?
So ideally you want to get to 8 hours.
Okay.
So you're eating within like 8 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the rest, you give the body complete rest and just
Okay.
what it needs to do on a cellular level. So that's number one. Number two, focus on prioritizing sleep and rest. What I find a lot of people, especially what's been happening recently, right, with all the pandemic, people completely forgot, even though they didn't really were involved like in social activities, no commuting to work, but at the same time, the rest and sleep completely like forgotten. Like I find people, some of them, they go to bed like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, when the body rebuilds itself from 10 to 2. So this is like the golden time for the body to completely rebalance everything, to detoxify, to repair itself. And when people don't have sleep and rest, it's completely it's practically impossible for the body to lose weight, because our nervous system can be in two places: in fight or flight response or rest and digest state. So it's a sympathetic state or parasympathetic state. Okay, so when the body is more in sympathetic state, it feels like, okay, there is an emergency. So I have to, like, if there is like a lion walking into my room, I'm just gonna be like literally in seconds in stress response. So the body is gonna send the blood to muscles because it thinks, okay, there is an emergency, I have to run. So it's not time for digestion, it's not time for reproduction, it's not time for losing weight, it's not time for just to support the immune system, and it's not time to fight any infection. If we want the body to release weight, we have to put the body in a more relaxed parasympathetic state. Okay, so rest and sleep, it's like one of the main priorities. When we sleep, there is a balance of hormones happening, and there are two hormones that control our hunger and the feeling of being full. So there is ghrelin and there is leptin. So when people don't have enough sleep and they barely have like 5-6 hours, what happens is ghrelin goes up and leptin goes very low. So when you eat in that state, your brain has high levels of ghrelin, so it still says that I'm still hungry.
Interesting.
And leptin is low, so you don't get that signal that you're full, the body is full, right? So, but when you have good night's sleep, you give your body time just to restore itself, leptin goes up and ghrelin goes down.
And a good night's sleep, what would you recommend? Most
people need like 7 hours, 7-8 hours. And it's also important, like the quality of the sleep, right? It's like if we have enough deep sleep, because that's the time that the body rejuvenates and repairs. So we have to pay to other factors. If it's not enough time in deep sleep, there are tools we can implement, just blocking all this blue light. There are glasses like this one I'm using right now.
I should put mine on.
Yeah,
I'm not being a good
Because
Goes
it's
to my
time, right? It's all this junk light is just reduces melatonin production on our body. And it's time to go to bed, and our body thinks that that is like still daytime. So
someone was asking a question. And I hit the record button by accident, but I'll have this recorded. Don't worry, from the Facebook, but I'm recording now. What is your opinion about naps in mid-afternoon?
if you do have nap, and if you have to have it, make sure that's not a long nap. 15-20 minutes, no more than 45 minutes. And if it's closer to nighttime, sometimes it's very difficult just for the body to fall asleep again. It depends, like it's very individual. If people have to have naps, yes, 15-20 minutes. Sometimes it just completely recharges the body. That's good. Just make sure that it's not like long enough, and not closer to bedtime.
I have another question around sleep. And we will be doing a live Q&A after this. So if you have other questions too, but about not being able to sleep well due to chronic pain.
So the pain has to be addressed also, right? It's a bigger topic. When the pain is involved, it's completely different approach. Yeah. But yes, the body is it's a constant signal to the body that the body is in a stress response. So the body cannot really relax fully and cannot really go into that deep state of relaxation.
Okay. So that was 2. And then there's a third, right? There's a third area.
Yes, and there is a third area. And I want to mention that because a lot of people think that if I want to lose weight, I have to go to the gym and I have to sweat on the treadmill at least 1 hour a day. And that's completely not true. So it's not that intense exercise is bad for the body. It's just not the best tool when you're trying to lose weight. Okay? Because I'm going to come back to the same concept that I explained when the body can be in sympathetic state or parasympathetic state. So when we put the body into that intense training, we're shifting body into sympathetic state.
Okay.
And we want to be in a more relaxed parasympathetic state when the body can release fat and weight. So what we want to do, we want to move the body, but we want to incorporate joyful movement that brings joy and puts the body into more that relaxed parasympathetic state. It could be simple walking, connecting with nature. I always encourage people just connect and go into green zones and spend time with nature. It's like the best reset for the body. Stretching, yoga, anything that doesn't put the body into that intense, tense stress response.
Okay. So what if you enjoy doing certain activities that might be, high energy activities? Would that count then as being in a more relaxed state because you're really enjoying it?
Give me an example.
Let's say you're a skier, and that would take quite a lot of energy. I'm not a skier, but I'm just saying, or like I really enjoy going to bar class, or I really used to enjoy going to kickboxing class, which would be more of that higher level. Is that still putting my body in a state that isn't a correct state to be in?
So there are 2 phases when we're talking about the weight loss. When I work with people, when we go through the losing phase, say, and there is approach to do that, during that phase, I strongly recommend just involve in only very like joyful activities, walking, and not really high intense exercise.
Mhm.
And it doesn't take long. That phase usually like 6 weeks.
Okay.
After that, when you go to maintenance phase, because the metabolic point, reset point completely resets itself and you get the new point for yourself, for your body, then you involve in a different activities. Then you incorporate high intensity and like whatever brings joy to you in that respect. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's not that easy when you go through that losing phase and you incorporate those 8 hours of intermittent fasting and you're eating completely different food set and you're focusing on sleep. Usually when people go through the losing phase, they find it's not that easy to actually to push the body into that high intensity state.
Okay. So it's going to be more difficult for your body to get there.
Yes, because there is a shifting of a lot of energies in the body, and the body is releasing toxin, releasing weight. Yes, the energy is sent in a completely different aspect of the body.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so I think we're getting towards the tail end of the interview, and then we've got quite a few people in the Zoom room, and I wanted to be able to allow them to have some live Q&A with you because you're fascinating, but I also wanted to make sure that we're covering everything that you wanted to talk about because this is a really fascinating topic.
So we talked about physical body.
Yeah.
But then we have to, like, once I'm gonna ask people to eat only within certain period of time, say like 12 hours, right? And we're compressing it to 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to face a different issue because a lot of people use food to cover up emotions, right? So now you have to really face what's happening on emotional level. And I ask, okay, it's not only what you're eating, but what is eating you? So you have to go deeper, right? So instead of avoiding those emotions, I always invite people just embrace whatever you feel. Because there is like emotional scale, right? There are emotions that we enjoy experiencing, like love, joy, gratitude, because it's a higher vibration. And then there are emotions on a low frequency, like fear, shame, anger, grief, right? So what has been found that if we experience high emotions, like gratitude, joy, that brings the body into more harmony. So the body can detoxify, can digest, rebalance hormones. And when we go into low emotions, like anger, fear, there is disharmony. There is discord in the body. And that means that every single function in the body is becoming like uphill battle. So it's very difficult for the body even to detoxify, to balance hormones. Everything, every step, it's like huge investment of energy. But what I find is even more important is when we resist those emotions that are low frequency. That creates even more disharmony in the body. Instead of embracing fear, instead of embracing fear, anger, those low vibrations, even though I don't like it, I'm gonna feel it and I'm gonna accept it and I'm gonna feel, because this is the energy, it has to move through the body, right? When we're resisting it, we're blocking it.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't move anywhere. And what we resist persists.
Yes. I'm glad you said that though, because it's impossible to feel joy and euphoria and all of these great things all the time. We're feeling
No,
all
yeah,
of our emotions all the
we're
time.
humans. Yes, it's not that. It's just understanding. Okay, I feel angry. It's just expressing what I feel. Right? I feel frustration. That's what I feel now. I'm just gonna breathe. I'm gonna sit with it. I'm just gonna feel it instead of denying it and suppressing it with food. And people use different vehicles, by the way. Just food is very socially acceptable. People use wine, drugs, alcohol, sex, working too much. Everybody has different vehicles. But the bottom line is just nobody wants to feel those emotions instead of actually embracing it. And sometimes people go into that, instead of saying, I feel angry, they go into that blame mode, right? You made me feel angry, or you did something to me. Yeah. Instead of just holding that, yes, and just taking responsibility for the feelings. It's nothing wrong, it's just a feeling.
Yeah.
So this is like deeper level. And then I would add this also, when we embrace those emotions, now we can say, okay, I want that result, right? I want to lose weight, 20 pounds, say, right? And I know what kind of actions I have to take. And then we look at people, I can give exactly the same plan, exactly the same action steps, right? And some people are gonna take it and get the result, and some people are gonna take it and never get the result.
Right.
So what's the difference? Yeah.
What is
there is a difference, right? Because
yeah.
Yes, we think that we have to take actions and that's how we're going to produce the result. But in reality, what's happening in reality? In reality, we take actions based on how we feel. All right. If I don't feel like, I feel like crap, there is no way just like I'm going to do something that's really going to be productive, right? So, and when people don't feel really like, they feel really bad sometimes, again, they're using food to cover up emotions and everything. Yeah. But then if we go deeper, why we feel like we can handle all those emotions, but we notice that some people have that pattern, like constantly in negative, like loop, right?
Yeah.
So they constantly feeling like depressed or anxious, all these negative emotions. It's not that the emotion, it's like how long you stay in that state.
Yeah. It's like the longer you stay in the state, the more you're telling your unconscious mind, this is who I am. And so the more you're going to feel it.
Right. So then we have to go deeper and we have to realize, okay, the feelings that we feel, it's based on the thought pattern. What are we thinking? Right. And sometimes, a lot of times it's subconscious. We don't even realize. People just know I don't feel good, right? So, but then we go deeper and we find that the thinking, what's happening in the head, is based on our subconscious beliefs. And that's our glasses, right? That's how we see the world. That's how we perceive everything. Because exactly the same events that's happening around us, people are going to perceive completely different way, depending on the glasses they're wearing, right? Some people like wear blue glasses, they're going to see everything blue. Some people see pink and they're going to see pink.
Yeah, we have a filter that we put over everything. We all do.
Right. So if I would say, okay, if I want to have that beautiful body and lose 20 pounds, right? First, I have to become an observer of what's happening in my body. Because if I'm not really aware what's happening, I cannot really change anything. So I would say like have 10 minutes, like a date with yourself, and just sit with yourself in silence and start observing all the emotions that are coming up, all the thinking that's happening. I feel like I'm a failure. I feel like I'm afraid like I'm gonna fail. I'm not good enough. You know, I don't believe it's gonna happen for me, right? Because some authority or somebody else already told me that I have to live with that pain for the rest of my life. It's just not curable. So observe everything. And at the same time, the next step, I would say, become a good receiver. Because if we want to receive that beautiful body and lose weight, ask for it.
I love that.
And if you ask for it, be ready to receive it and see what's going to come for you. Because one thing, it actually takes a lot of courage to even ask. Because when we ask and we say, okay, this is the body that I desire to have. Youthful, gorgeous, fit, healthy, right? Then there is another part that's going to start talking and saying, who do you think you are, right? This is all La La Land. This is not possible for you, right?
Yeah, it goes, yeah, right. Yeah, right. You're going to look like that.
Yeah. So right here, I can say, I can give an example. I had like a patient recently, and she's been struggling with pain with like for all her life. Autoimmune conditions. And I invited her just to start observing and just ask her, what would you like to have? Like even small shift in your body. And not even listening to that, her response to that, I know it's not gonna work for me. I've tried everything in my life and I've been living with it for 20 years. So right here, there is a block, right? You're not even receiving that possibility, right?
Yeah.
And that's, yes, that's huge. We ask for it and we have to be a good receiver and receive it. And it has to do everything with how worthy we feel, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we can't ask for it and then block it.
Right.
Say, I want and that's never going to happen.
Right. So as we're going to start moving to that desired goal, all these subconscious beliefs are going to come up. And that's an opportunity for us to become aware and to release them. And as we release those subconscious beliefs, and we're going to start moving closer and closer to our higher self and our desired body and health and state and abundance and freedom.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I love what you said. Have a date with yourself and just sit there for 5 minutes in the quiet.
Just silence. Yes, because we're so much into go and do something, especially, and it just, when there is like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a lot of people just on the computer answering something on emails and eating and doing everything at the same time. Yes, just blocking everything outside and sitting with yourself.
Wonderful. Okay. Is there anything else you want to add before we sign off and then jump into some of the juicy questions that people will have for you?
These are 3 main pillars. I just want to reiterate, like incorporating healthy lifestyle on the physical level, right? Starting with basic and intermittent fasting, narrowing that window, focusing on whole food, nutrient-dense food, prioritizing sleep and rest, and focusing on joyful moments of the body, right?
Wonderful.
Feeling all the emotions, next step, receiving all the emotions, dropping that resistance and allowing that energy go through the body, right? Becoming an observer, next step, being willing to receive. And as those beliefs are coming up, releasing it one by one.
I love it. I know you have a symptom decoder,
yes,
which is very cool. I had it in the post and then I had some technical issues, so I will put it back in the post, and I'm also going to have your website there in case people want to get in touch with you, because your wealth of knowledge is amazing. So I am going to say thank you to everyone that is out there in Facebook land. We're going to sign off of Facebook, and then we're going to go live here in Zoom. We're going to continue the discussion here so people can ask their personal Q&A to Dr. Larisa. So I am going to